Hello, I'm Scott Bogey here with Tobias Taylor ahead of his fight against Don DeJesus at the Coliseum Combat Zone on the 14th of September. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
And how has your training camp been for this fight?
The training's been going good. I'm training about twice a day, doing a lot of cardio, pad work, mid work, jujitsu. So everything's coming together.
And how does this fight feel? You are fighting for the title, and it is a guy who has been known to, if you do get past him, you are onto that big stage. He has fight a lot of people like Luke Riley, who was meant to be on the Contender Series. That was his last fight. And then a lot of fighters who have made it into the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Jesus is a real veteran in the sport. He has a lot of experience. So, this fight means a lot. Like you said, this fight could definitely get me to the next level, it being a title fight. So I'm prepared for it. I'm ready. I'm excited. I know he's going to be a big test for me, but I also think that he's the type of fighter that that I match up well with. So I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
And did you have a few names looking to come into this fight, or were you just given John?
One more time.
Did you have a few names coming into this fight, or what? Or did they just give you this name?
No, man, they gave me John DeJesus, and me and my team decided to hop on it. Yeah, man.
And speaking about your last fight, it was against Justin Payton. It was a decision defeat. How did you feel that fight went for you?
That was a pretty bad performance on my end. All props to Justin Patton. He did a good job. He's a good fighter. But that's the type of fight that I'd take again in a heartbeat like that. I feel like I could beat Justin Patton. I think I beat him 9 times out of 10. I had a tough weight cut. Um, and it was just the fight didn't go my way. And sometimes, you know, that's that's the fight game. Sometimes it doesn't go your way. And you just gotta get back up and fight another day. Put that fight behind you.
And what was it in that fight? Did he surprise you with, or were you not expecting anything?
He didn't really surprise me with anything, but he doesn't have a whole lot of footage on YouTube. So I wasn't able to really kind of game plan, like
Yeah.
I would have liked to. And that's on me. I realized that after the fact, I would have done a little bit of things differently. Have I had video to watch and prepare for him better? But the Jesus has a ton of video on
Yeah.
YouTube. So, I mean, I can game plan accordingly.
And do you feel like for you personally, you do value that tape study? Like you were saying with your last fight, there wasn't much tape out there for you to watch. So do you value that tape study a lot?
Yeah, I mean, big time. It matters, especially nowadays where, you got guys, you know, they got 10, 15, 20 fights on
Yeah.
YouTube sometimes. And it matters big time. You can pick up on tendencies, you can pick up on uh, you know, things that your opponent likes to do if he likes to move to the left, if he likes to throw his rear leg or his lead leg or his strong side. So yeah, it definitely matters big time.
And do you just watch tape on your opponents or do you watch it on yourself as well?
I watch film on my opponents. I watch film on myself. I watch other fighters fight. I watch guys in the UFC. I watch amateur fights. I'm watching everything. I try to be a student of the game.
And with this fight being for the featherweight title, is there any more pressure on this fight?
No, I'm done putting pressure on myself, man. I used to put a lot of pressure on myself, but it shouldn't be any added pressure. If you're doing what you're supposed to do on a daily basis, if you're training, you're eating right, you're doing your cardio, you shouldn't put added pressure on yourself. You just need to go out there and perform.
And when you're starting your career as a pro, you were fighting in the bantamweight division and you have since moved to the featherweight. Was it just because of, like you were saying, you had a tough weight cut last time? Was it just shifting that weight was just too much? You just thought to move to featherweight?
Yeah, fighting at bantamweight, it became too much. Featherweight is I think the better weight class for my body type and my body frame. Like I'm not tall, but I'm very
Yeah.
solid. It got rough cutting down the bantamweight, man. I walk around at like 170 now. So I'm walking around a lot heavier than I was in the previous years too. So that's a part of it as well. So lifestyle, I had a son, so I work in carpentry now. So yeah, man, it's just a lot of factors that, made me decide to just stick with featherweight, and I'm not really undersized. I might be short for my weight class, but like as far as body frame goes and body type, I'm not undersized. I'm a thick guy. I got thick thighs, I got a thick upper body. So I match up well with the rest of the featherweight guys.
And like you're saying, you are a carpenter as well. How do you feel like how difficult is it to balance that full-time work to that also the training and dieting and getting prepared for the fights?
Yeah, I mean, it can be rough at times, when you're doing carpentry, you're wearing a tool belt all day,
Yeah.
you got weight on your body all day and you're climbing ladders and you're picking up studs, you're using your body, that's manual labor. But you get used to it, and when you need a day off, when you need to just maybe slow down, stretch, drink some water. So it's definitely a balance, but it's doable, just like anything else. If you want it bad enough, you make it happen.
And obviously, with your last fight, that was in June, and you also had a fight in March as well this year. So that's three fights you've had so far in 3 months sessions. Do you like that keeping active pace?
Yeah, I'm 31 now, and I want to stay active. I ain't got time to wait, take one fight a year. Two fights a year. And I'm 31. I don't really want to fight past 38. So I gotta go. I don't have time to wait. I gotta go, you know.
And of is this fight in with the Coliseum? Is that just a one fight deal?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if I win, I have to defend the title. But as of right now, it's just a one fight deal.
And do you feel like if another organization came knocking and you did win, do you feel like they would just let you get going and to explore the other option?
I think so. Like I said, it's just a one fight deal. So
Yeah,
if I win the title, I'll have to defend it with them. But I don't think I'm locked into any long term agreement, only a one fight deal and whatever happens, happen. So yeah, if Bellator came calling or UFC, I don't think they'd have a problem with that. They'd probably be happy because I'm making them look good. I came from
yeah.
their promotion. So yeah.
And what do you feel like is the next stage for you once you get that win?
The next stage, I don't know. I mean, really, I got to take it a day at a time. I don't really have a game plan. If I win this title, I'm gonna have to defend it, obviously. If I was to lose, and unfortunately, I'd have to take another fight and bounce back. Just taking it a day at a time, a fight at a time. It's really hard to try to game plan, especially on a regional level, because you really just don't know
Yeah.
you don't know until something next comes. So,
And what have you seen from Jesus that you're looking to take advantage of in this fight?
well, I don't want him to hear this because he might hear it and then he might try to do something different. Um, but I'll just say I think I want to kind of take advantage of. I don't want to say. I'll just keep
No,
it to
that's
myself.
completely fine. I understand you want to keep your game plan to
Yeah,
yourself.
keep it to myself. Yeah.
And then obviously in 2021 you were part of Team Kickboxing USA. How was that experience?
It was a good experience. I got to go overseas for the first time. I've never been no farther out than Canada. So I'm here in Cleveland, Ohio. So being able to go halfway across the world was just, I mean, that was amazing in its own, regardless of the outcome. I ended up losing to Serbia, but he was a great opponent, a lot of experience. He has world-class experience as well. So, it was definitely an experience that I'll remember forever. And being able to fight top guys, I mean, just to get there for get to Worlds, I
Yeah.
had to three tough fights pretty much throughout that weekend, all game opponents. So it definitely upped my game and made me realize how good I am.
And do you feel like having that experience and fighting those international fighters just improved your game even more?
Definitely. Yeah. You get that national experience, you get world class experience, and it can't do anything but make you a better person, a better fighter.
And you are training with Rising Dragon MMA. How has that been?
I've been training with Rather Dragon my whole life. It's been good. I got my guys. My coaches Tawan, Alonzo, my coach Steve McCullough. All my training partners are on the come up as well. Sinisa Jovic, Juan Goins, Craig Howard. So we got a lot of good guys that are on the come up right now, and we're just on the up and up. You know.
And do you feel like like you're saying you've been there all your life, having that relationship with them just helps you improve because they're not going to be afraid to tell you how it is.
Yeah, well, when you're training with family, Tawan Howard's my brother, and when you're training with family, I think there's a closer bond than training with just a stranger. And I consider all my coaches family, to be honest, because I've been with them for so long.
Yeah,
But like you said, they're going to tell you how it is. But he also knows my personal life, and that affects fighting as well. So he's able to kind of, give me advice on my personal life as well as the advice on the mat, because it all matters, at the end of the
yeah.
day, you know.
And having that family connection, do you feel like that just brings you even closer? Like, how has that helped to improve that game?
Yeah, like I said, Tawan Howard, him being my coach, he used to fight and he knows the fight game in and out for that reason. He has like probably 30 professional fights between MMA and kickboxing. So, it's just it's a cherry on top. I get to train and people train at different gyms, and me being able to train at a gym and have my coach be my brother just adds on to it, adds on to the bond.
And how did you get into the cage? Like, what's your story of getting into the MMA world?
Uh just something I enjoyed watching on TV as a kid. I used to watch UFC all the time when I was a kid. Watched BJ Penn, Forrest Griffin, and George St. Pierre, like the old school days. And it's something that it was always kind of intimidating to think that, okay, one day I want to do this. It was
Yeah.
intimidating, but it was the challenge that drew me in. Like I love the grind. I love going to practice and going to kickboxing and going to wrestling practice. And I love working hard and having to overcome adversity. And it was something I always knew I wanted to do because I enjoy fighting. I grew up fighting with my cousins and fighting outside. Just nothing too serious. I wasn't in gang
Yeah.
wars or anything like that. But we put on the boxing gloves. We'd fight in the garage. We'd have Royal Rumbles and wrestling matches outside as kids. So I did a lot of fighting, and it's just something that I enjoy. I like fighting.
And how did you find that moving from that amateur scene to the pro scene? Did you feel like you were kind of doing like a reset? Because obviously your record goes back to 0-0.
Yeah, fighting as a going from amateur to pro, it was I don't want to say it was a culture shock, but I got two tough fights back to back. I fought Chris Mitchell, who was a good fighter, and if he was still fighting this day, he'd probably be on the next level. For some reason, he stopped fighting. And I fought Patrick Mix. He was my second pro fight, and he's now the Bellator bantamweight
Yeah.
champion. So I had two tough fights back to back. I started off 0-2. It was definitely a learning curve, longer rounds. And you're fighting guys that they're specialists. So they're going to be really good at something or they're going to be really well rounded at everything. You're not going to, you might find somebody that's kind of like weak in one area as a pro, but that kind of goes out the window the longer you fight, the tougher these guys get. Guys really aren't weak in any areas. So it's just, you got to continue to grow as a martial artist.
And were you training with the knees and the elbows before turning pro? Obviously, as an amateur, you're not able to throw them, but were you still working that in, knowing that you could go to that pro level?
Yeah, I was definitely working my knees and elbows as an amateur. I started off with karate as a kid. So when you're doing karate, there's a lot of self-defense, re-grab the wrist and throw an elbow, throw a knee. So I was training for elbows and knees ever since I was a kid. It's just I never really got to use them until I turned pro.
Well, thank you for coming on it. That was great. I wish you the best of luck and hopefully you'll be able to get that title. I'll
All
give you the
right.
final word. Is there anyone you're wanting to shout out? Anything else you're wanting to say?
Yeah, man. Shout out to my coaches, Tawan, Alonzo, Steve. Shout out to my guys, all my training partners, Juan Goins. Shout out to Sinisa Jovic, um, Craig Howard, everyone at the gym. Everyone who helps me get ready. Zach Beeman, he only has one amateur fight, but his jujitsu is on point. Y'all better be on the lookout for him. Be on the lookout for all my guys. And yeah, man, my family, they help me out a lot. It's just a big support system. I have a big support system and guys that believe in me. So I want to make them proud.
Well, that sounds great. Thank you for coming on, and I wish you the best of luck.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.